Computing, the use of computers and their fast calculations, has permeated every facet of modern life. As it continues to become an integral part of existence, the environmental impact of this field must be examined. The computerization industry accounts for 3% of all carbon dioxide emissions, equaling the aviation industry. And since the 1980s, it has only continued to explode in growth. In this ever-expanding field, discovering ways to limit the negative impact of computers has become paramount. Most mark the beginning of green computing's history with the United States 1992 Energy Star Plan. Since that time, more regulations and restrictions on the manufacturing, purchasing, and selling of the computer equipment have come about. Today, green computing focuses on three primary areas of electronics: new construction, existing technology, and reuse and disposal. The cost to build new technology is surprisingly high. Hazardous materials are required in the construction of new computers. Mining rare earth metals is detrimental to the environment, but vital to computers as they allow for all the processing power. Furthermore, the refinement of the rare earth metals and the remanufacturers of the computers require 10 times its weight in fossil fuels for creation, far exceeding other industries which are much closer to 1 to 2 times their weight in fossil fuels. To combat the cost of new technology, redesigning the deployment of personal computers must be considered. Hardware is developing faster than customers can extract value. Thus, they must look at virtualization as a new option. Virtualization allows multiple users to access one hardware component. It simulates the use of many hardware components, but only uses one server. This greatly reduces the construction costs, as all these other hardware components are never actually built, but rather virtualized. Virtualization has a proven track record. It has reduced CO2 emissions that have been lowered by tens of millions of tons. New technology must also make use of energy-saving technology, such as CRT monitors, flash-based devices. It needs to use better construction materials, such as bioplastics, things that will biodegrade. And perhaps most importantly at all, it needs to design components with longer lifespans, machines that can be upgraded with reusable components rather than things that will perish and become obsolete after a few years. Often overlooked, but perhaps most important to green computing, is the use of existing technology. The cost of new technology is too great, both economically and environmentally, for everyone to completely replace all their equipment. Thus, it is important that we use currently existing equipment in the most energy efficient way possible. This includes removing the energy cost of inactivity. Many computers are on constantly or use screensavers, which use just as much energy as the computer actually being used. Following best practices of turning off computers and limiting the amount of energy they use when inactive will save tons of energy and CO2 emissions. Furthermore, investing in cloud computing technology will allow currently running machines to live a lot longer lifespan and require a lot less effort on their processing power. Research has shown that using cloud computing technology can reduce energy emissions from 30 to 90%. Compounding with using cloud computing is making data centers more energy efficient. The more we can use cloud computing, the more we can use remote servers to process our needs, the more effective it will be when those servers are effectively climate controlled and energy efficient. The final major component of green computing is reuse and disposal. Improper disposal is absolutely detrimental to the environment. Plastics can take centuries to degrade, and the rare metals vital to the computer's performance can have major health effects on water supplies and those drinking from them. Perhaps the most important part of the reuse and disposal is delaying the disposal as long as possible. When the computer becomes inefficient or unusable for one user, it is possible that they could sell or donate it to someone who would find it perfect for their needs. By selling or donating, they effectively eliminate that person from going out and purchasing a brand new computer, which would require its rare earth minerals to be mined, require the pollution for creating the plastic. It effectively eliminates the construction costs from that purchased computer. When a machine is no longer functional, it is vital that it is appropriately disposed. Proper recycling can ensure that the rare earth metals within that computer are used in new equipment, and the cost to extract them will not be done a second time. Furthermore, ensuring that everything is disposed of properly prevents environmental contamination from either the plastics or other hazardous materials present within computers. In conclusion, green computing is a study that looks at the environmental impact of the computerization of the modern world. It takes a look at the design of new computers and the construction costs, the existing technology and how best to eliminate or reduce its electricity use, and finally, when computers become obsolete, how best to reuse and dispose of them so they have a minimal negative impact on the environment. As environmental concerns, such as global warming, continue to grow in public mind, green computing and its ability to reduce the negative impacts of computerization on the environment become more and more important. Thank you for listening.